Hi, thank you for waking up early and being here today. So again, my name is An. I'm with a company called JonaCare. We are based in Boston, and as a company, our mission is to basically expand blood testing access for patients with chronic diseases. So for us as a company, chronic disease means heart failure, diabetes, and chronic kidney disease. So if you look at the numbers here, it's a pretty big problem globally. In the US, these three diseases represent 90 million diagnosed patients across the country. And unfortunately, if you look at this map here, most of these patients are also located in states that are associated with poverty. So patients with CKD, heart failure, diabetes, tends to be patients in lower socioeconomic status. And that's unfortunate because once you're diagnosed or you're on this clinical journey here on the screen, it means that your problem is not just an organ-specific issue. So if you have diabetes, for an example, your chances of getting a fatty liver disease is about 70%. And then as you progress in your disease, your likelihood of having heart failure is another 25%. And the majority of heart failure patients, as they progress, ends up having CKD. And in fact, about 50% of patients with chronic kidney issues have a cardiovascular problem. So as you can imagine, it gets really hard for these patients once you hit on this journey. And with these patients, how doctors monitor their progress is based on blood testing. So 70% of clinical decisions depends on these laboratory blood testing. And for these patients, in order to triage, it's these tests right here that you see in the box. And it compounds, right? Because we said these patients are in lower socioeconomic status. That usually means they are, compliance is low. So in fact, testing compliance for these patient population is about 10% in Europe, 20% in the US. And that is mainly because, it's an older population. As you progress in your disease, there's usually tied with a physical limitation. So in order to go in for a doctor's visit, you need someone to help get you to the blood test and then to get to the doctor's visit. If you live in rural America, your chances of dying from one of these diseases gets even harder. But fortunately for us, coming out of the pandemic, the uptake even in telemedicine has gone up. But for these patients, for us, for a wellness call, right, talking to our doctor, we just get on a Zoom and it's pretty easy. But for these patients to have these virtual meetings successful, they still need that blood test. So even though you get on a Zoom call, they still have to make it to a Quest LabCorp, wait 3 days, a day to 3 days for the data, then come back and get on a Zoom call, which doesn't work for these patients. So we as a company, we call that our unresolved burden. So our solution is to simplify blood testing for triaging only, right? Those key metrics for the patients by making it easier. And how we make it easier is to do this in the home space. So what you see on the screen here, there's no pointer. The blue device is our device for the home space. And our value proposition for this device is that we can do up to 3 tests on one test strip of 30 microliters of blood, whole blood. So the blood goes directly from the finger onto the test strip, the data reads, and then the data gets integrated with the clinician's dashboard that allows us basically to remove the geographical burden of having to be in a clinical office or in a Quest or LabCorp to get data. And I think one of the big takeaway of us is that we design our menu based on that clinical journey, right? So we're not trying to be a cardiovascular panel by having everything right you can in the clinic. We're only picking markers that allows doctor to say, you need to come back into the clinic. And above all, we can do all of this for a $50 device and $1 or $2 per test. So just to give you a sense of what that looks like, I have a video of our first generation product. So in this demo, you'll see the device is a little bit uglier, and the blood goes, we use a transfer pipette. But the product we're launching next year is a direct finger stick blood, and it looks like the blue device I showed. And I don't know how to start it. Oh, there you go. So the patient would select the test, the device turns on. We engineered this for an elderly population, so you just have to tap the screen, your phone onto the device, and then This is a prescription-based test. They have to scan the barcode that comes with the test, and then the app, it's updated, not this version, walks the patients through how do you do a finger stick and collect the blood samples on your own. And as a reminder, we're going after an FDA indication for a lay person's use in the home space. So because I can't fast forward it, what you essentially see is a patient wiping the site of the blood collection. You wipe off the first droplet. And in this video, again, I show a transfer pipette just for lab demo, but it's 30 microliters of whole blood, unprocessed, goes directly onto the device. Then the app shows the data. It flashes on the screen. Depending on the test, FDA would allow us to show it to the patient or not, and then that integrates with the doctor's dashboard. So before you say we're Theranos, we are an experienced team. So the first product you see on the bottom is our first generation products, which we have 5 CE mark, 1 FDA approval, and we have sold those products outside the US, in fact, almost 2 million tests. And then the top, what you see is the product that we're gonna launch next year with our global distribution partner, Roche Diagnostic. What you see is for our 3 products, we are picking potassium, creatinine, and NT-proBNP. So a small molecule, a salt, and an immunoassay, right, all on this $50 test. In parallel, we are expanding that menu for multiplexing, so we can do liver functions. There's been a lot of pharmaceutical companies with drugs out there that has high toxicity, and patients can't make it into the lab twice a week is what they're asking, right? So in this scenario, we can monitor those patients' safety. At home, we're doing lipid panels. You can see on the bottom, we've done all of these lipids already. We're just combining it onto a strip for multiplexing, and then we're doing a urine-based test just to show the versatility of sample types that our products can handle. Just 2 more slides. So our go-to-market strategy today is, first option is to be used to help triage patients of hospital readmission. So once a patient is discharged with CKD or heart failure, they go home, they get prescribed one of our device, and through our testing, we're able to monitor patient likelihood of going back into the hospital. With that opportunity, we are partnering with Roche, and then the other opportunity is to use the same device for clinical trial. So in the same scenario, patients in clinical trials still struggle to go in to get the blood testing for resolutions. And as everybody knows here, if you don't get those biometrics, it jeopardizes the study. So for that, our lead partner there is AstraZeneca, and we're expanding out that strategic portfolio. And I'm going very fast since we have 8 minutes. If you're interested in the data, please let me know. We are positioned for an FDA submission in the next couple months. Our team, we have an experienced team, and I won't go through everybody's resume. Management team is very experienced in the home testing space or point of care testing. We have a pretty legendary MedTech advisory group. Many of these names you guys might recognize. And then for strategic partner, AstraZeneca and Roche have been phenomenal for us. High-level summary here is that it's a huge unmet need. Nobody's doing it right now. So as of now, no one really has a blood test, FDA clear in the home space for even these 3 biomarkers we're looking at. We're positioned to hopefully be the first. We have strong partnerships and a very strong team. And they asked for us for this meeting is we're looking to meet with investors for an early introduction for a Series C. We closed our B recently, but we won't start the Series B till about later this year. What we're actually looking for is expansion of partnerships. We're looking to expand our pipeline if there's any synergies there. Our data integrates to a digital platform. We're looking for that. We don't want to build that digital platform. So if you have an RPM platform, that would be helpful for us. And finally, if you work in decentralized clinical trial or you have a study you want your patients to get their metrics measured at home, we'd be interested in a conversation. Thank you for your time.